Okay, so as I was going to say, there was something that I was going to mention at the end of last episode, and then the episode ended because this is not me playing the game live at the moment. This is me recording post commentary because my microphone was not working. Anyways, as I was going to say, one thing I found very odd about this game, I guess it's not alone in this, but still, is that this game actually does have online capabilities. For which reason, you'd usually expect to see the developers make some effort to make the game, tamper-proof. Because those are the sorts of games where you really have to worry about people hacking the game and so on. I don't know why I just paused the game, in case you're wondering. Oh, I think I had a lot of windows to close from modifying the game because I got into a mess of trying to figure out what was going wrong and so on. Anyways, as I was saying, so this particular game doesn't make any effort to, detect or prevent modification of its files, which is why I was able to modify the game to unlock this tournament and the ice tournament, actually. Amusing. I guess it worked out in my favor. It means I can play this thing. Again, I'm not too sure. I hate this bump into this hill, into this narrow bridge here. But I guess I don't know if I would have been... Everyone looks so color-coordinated here. Look at the reds, the blues, and so on. And then there's the green guy on the yellowish bike. But I don't know if the unlock all tracks, or whatever it's called, cheat would actually unlock the tournament as well. I haven't tested it. Off the bridge. I guess... I don't know if I'll ever know, actually. I may try a cheat for something or another later on, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I think I have actual commentary talking about that, like live commentary. I don't have to talk about that now. You'll get to hear past me in the future talk about that, as temporally paradoxical as that sounds. But a funny thing is, though, so I have actually looked at basically all of the games Climax has ever made, and looked at the different archive formats they use. There are two main archive formats that they have used. They've gone through a few, but they're two big ones. One I forget the name of, actually. They use it for MotoGP and whatnot. I haven't looked into how that one works or anything. But the format they use for this one, a lot of people call it the IMP format because it has a magic number IMP0. I think it's like lowercase I, capital M, lowercase p, 0. I tend to call it the archive format because it's generic name as it is. I call it Climax Archive because that's good job on the bridge. Because they left lots of debug strings and they tend to leave lots of debug strings in the games they make. Sometimes, not always. And it appears that the name of the utility they use to produce these archives is called Archive, so I tend to call it Climax Archive. But anyways, there are a few different versions of the Climax Archive format. This game uses one of the earlier ones. It uses actually the simplest, easiest one, I'd say, to work with. It uses the text version of the early format. Hot Wheels Snow Track Challenge uses the binary version of the early format. Some games, I don't know if there are any... Yeah, there are some games that use the text version of the later format, which Volvo Drive for Life used, for instance. I think Rusty Humans used it. I should talk about Volvo Drive for Life at some point. Maybe I'll do it now, because there's not much else to talk about. So there's a game called Volvo Drive for Life. It's very obscure. I don't know how many copies exist. I think exclusively for the Xbox. It was, from what I understand, distributed with, I think Volvo commissioned the game, like the car dealer, manufacturer, whatever you call it. And I think they actually commissioned this game to give out with new cars they sold. Some way or another, I don't remember how, I ended up acquiring a copy of the game. And there's not much to it. Well, I say there's not much to it, and yet they managed to use like 8 gigabytes of disk space anyways, somehow. I think because they stuck a bunch of videos on it, of testing of, what was it? Like crash test dummy crashes from vehicle crash testing and so on. I think you can find it online. You can find what, like a half hour of content of that is on the game disk otherwise too. But if you look into the game file, one reason it takes up so much space too is they didn't bother compressing anything. You look at the insides of that game and you can see that they really phoned that in. They didn't bother compressing anything. They used the laziest, most simple, like text-based version of their archive format for that. and so on. And they seem to have lots of files from, I think, another game they were working on at the time called Crusty Demons, which I think was a motorcycle game or something to that effect. You can find lots of files, or at least file names relating to it, in the files of Volvo Drive for Life. And funny thing is, Drive for Life released before that game, before Crusty Demons. So you could have gotten like a sneak peek of stuff that was in Crusty Demons, or even hear about the existence of Crusty Demons if it wasn't public information yet, through a Volvo Drive for Life. It was kind of funny. I don't know if I'll ever acknowledge existence of that game beyond this by I don't know, showing it existing. It doesn't do much other than that, in my opinion. It's really just an advert anyways for Volvo. But it's funny to acknowledge the fact that it exists, in my opinion, because it's very obscure and just kind of hastily thrown together. Also, by the way, in case you're confused, yeah, they actually made this entire tournament the national race, the short race, and then the national again. It's the same race. Why did they do this? I don't know. Especially considering there is an enduro race for this course. I haven't done it yet, but it's in the single event menu at least. Why didn't they use that? I'll save you the disappointment of discovering it naturally as well. For the ice tournament, that one also does the same thing. So you have to do the same race twice in one tournament. An actual majority of the tournament is repeated because, with 2 of the 3 races are the same thing. I don't get that. Feels like an awkward waste of time. Actually, I do end up, I think, maybe after 1 lap, just cutting out this race, I think, if I remember correctly. I did not record this entire race, I'm quite certain. You will not have to sit through the repeated race in the ice tournament either, rest assured. But anyhow, so the updated archive format that Climax used, the updated version of the format that was used in this game, they used the updated version in ATV Offroad Fury 4, for instance. That format actually does have a field for checksums, if I remember correctly. Goodbye, blue guy. And checksums would, let the game verify that the game's... Oh, there we go. The game file has not been modified. Granted, if you can modify the file, you can also regenerate the checksum. Yep, see, there you go. I just skipped the race. You just regenerate the checksum. But it's one more layer of, stuff that a person modifying the game has to get through. It's something. But that checksum field exists, and unsurprisingly, is not actually used for Volvo Drive for Life. Why would they bother? Aside from not caring about Volvo Drive for Life as they made it, they also, there's no reason to protect that game from modification. It has no online features or anything. But even other games they put out afterwards that might have had online features, they did not. They had the checksum field in their data format. They just didn't use it for anything. They never actually store checksums in it. So they just never bothered, verifying that files are modified. All the better for me, because it means I can modify the game with less work, so I won't complain. Of course, maybe not good for online stuff. I think at one point I don't think I mentioned this yet in the post commentary. Oh yeah, I will have to buy these eventually. It's a little hard to come by money for these. You only get 2,000 for each of these tournaments, unfortunately, which is not a lot. But anyhow, where was I going with this? I will acknowledge real quick, this seems to be a new open world map with multiple races on it, actually. I don't think you have a freestyle event in it or anything that you can buy and unlock and do. But Colonel's Peak seems to be a new area, I think. This is a new race that you haven't seen before. But anyhow, one thing I wanted to mention was, aside from just cheating, apologies if I'm repeating this, but I don't think that I am. Aside from just people being able to cheat online if your online game is, easy to modify, it's hackable, you will get issues of people cheating online, of course, which will be a nuisance, especially if it's competitive in any capacity. But a much bigger issue, too, is... I don't know why the game is paused right now. A much bigger issue is that... I didn't end the episode, right? I'm pretty certain I did not end the episode. It's only 9 minutes. Okay. I'm pretty... An issue you can run into is, security vulnerability kinds of things. See, a good example would be a couple of Tony Hawk games. A few of them, actually, have some kind of basic buffer over exploit you can do. I won't get into the details of that. But An issue is that the game actually is... The video's still running, right? Yes. What in the world am I doing right now? I don't know why the video is paused for this long. I don't know. I just recorded this like half an hour ago, but I don't remember why I paused the game for this long. I guess I was talking about something? I'm now wasting the opportunity to also talk about something while it's paused, because I'm expressing confusion at why it's paused. Anyways, my video player assures me that this video is still playing, so we'll get back to your regularly scheduled race in a second. But, so, buffer overflow exploit exists in a few Tony Hawk games. Cool, whatever, that's not usually an issue, because, well, you can just do whatever. In your single player game, it's not a problem. People can hack it all they want. But the game's online, and the problem is that a person could also exploit that buffer overflow on other people's consoles that they're playing online with. I think it was something like if you made your player name too long or something, you could start overwriting memory and so on. But anyhow, oh, also, you know, I can't layer all these things on top of each other. I have to finish what I'm saying first. That's such a problem with this. And people had actually found that you could actually basically remotely hack, as in like inject payloads onto other people's systems, other people's Xboxes, by exploiting this. So it wasn't just a matter of like, oh hey, you can do hacky stuff online because you can hack you mod your game or hack your system or whatever. I think you could just modify a save file and do this actually. That's all. Modifying a save file is all you need to be able to do to do this hack. But you could also make it execute arbitrary code on other people's systems, which is quite dangerous, of course. A few games have had problems like that. Mario Kart Wii has also had that problem, I believe. Which also ended up getting exploited, specifically to allow people to play after the official servers went down, which is cool. I mean, there's always a light and a dark side to these sorts of things. Being able to mod stuff and, you know, keep games alive and everything is awesome. On the other hand, you know, people will do malicious things all the time too. Anyways. So, this course, I do like how this course is big and windy and fast and has jumps and so on. I got a little tired of it by the, you know, 6th lap, but still, you know, because we have to do this race again afterwards. But I do enjoy this a good deal. I also realized, man, I forgot just how slippery snow is in this game, even when you have really good tires and a really good ATV. Bonk. Did you see how much I slid when that guy hit me? It's like bumper cars in here. Yes. Fun course. This also reminds me a little bit of Wii Ski and Snowboard, but you don't have an ATV in this area. Well, Wii Ski and Snowboard, or in the relevant area in your vacation. Anyhow. Funny how I ended up talking about game modification as much as I have in this particular playthrough of the game. But, well, at this point it's kind of relevant because, you know, this isn't even the first time I've decided to just modify a game on the fly while let's playing it, funnily enough. It seems like a kind of ludicrous thing to do, at least to me, but I have done it a few times. Usually out of a bit more necessity than this. I did it with Super Karushi at one point when I was playing Flash games, because there was a level that was just broken that wouldn't work emulating the game under Ruffle. So I had to modify the game to actually be able to progress in the game. I just opened up a Flash decompiler and removed the object that was in my way. Whereas here, I, in theory, could have just done some more tournaments to unlock these tournaments by playing other tournaments on higher difficulties, but I just didn't want to. Because it would be, you know, we just did a bunch of repeated races in the Olympics, and I think it is absolutely high time that this playthrough finishes. It's nice that we're still getting new content with these races like this one and so on, but I think we've had most of the fun there is to be had in this game with its formula and whatnot, even though I still want to show everything there is to show in the game. But I didn't anticipate this playthrough would last as long as it did, which is one reason I've very decisively decided against doing everything on Expert at this point. It's just like we've done so much stuff for so long in this game already. And there are other things I'd like to get to. And by other things, I mean things singular, kind of. I do have a list with more than one item on it of things I'd like to play after this at some point, but only one of them is something I actually want to play, you know, immediately after this. I don't know what I want to play after that. Because I always have things on my to-do list that are long things. I don't know when I want to get to them or not. Ugh. Some games are just like that. I prefer games to not be super long, like at least for Let's Play purposes. Like 20 episodes, 20 or 30 episodes. That's good for me. Like 20 to 40 episodes is a really good range for me. Sometimes really short ones can be nice too. You'll just sit down one or two times and just get through a thing, something fun and pleasant and little. I did that with lots of the Flash games. I did. That's probably why I'm kind of, you know, not looking for those right now, because I just did a lot of them a couple months ago. And then this game turned out to be a little longer than I expected. Whoops. Well, I was already doing another game that I knew would be long, which is in Stars in Time. The thing I was planning on doing after this should not be that long, though. I don't know if it'll be only a couple sittings. We'll find out. Oh, I got stuck in that in a weird way. I also noticed, I got reminded when this happened. That, cool, good job. A funny detail in this game that I only occasionally notice is, of course, as you drive around, your bike and your person both get mud or dirt or whatever, snow, on them. Increasing amounts the longer you drive around for. But there's an odd little detail that a lot of it gets taken off each time you respawn. So if you wipe out, you'll come back cleaner. I always thought that was a really random thing for them to have done, but it is something that they decided to do. But it doesn't clean off completely, I don't think, only a bit. So if you wipe out multiple times, it'll become very clean. Had a bit more of a struggle getting back into first place here than I would have liked. There we go. I don't know if it's a coincidence that both these tournaments, the first two races had the same person, it's the same AI leading, which meant I actually really did have to worry about getting first in things to get first in the tournament. Anyways, that's probably the end of this episode, isn't it? So I'll see you next time when we do the short race here. That is the end of the episode, right? Soon, probably. Yeah, and it's here. Bye, everyone.